Guys, some of you asked me for a little bit of guidance on how to use the visible and invisible identities. That is, who am I, the identity portrait. I am remixing Alex's project once again. He's one of my former students from a previous year. As you could see, I'm logged in. You could see my username is up there. And because I'm logged in, when I opened up Alex's code, I'm able to remix it. So the first thing I need to do, and this is going back a little bit, is to make sure that I remix the project. When I get to the next screen, it brings me inside, and if you notice, it says, who am I, Alex? And it says remix. Mine says remix 3 because I've remixed it a few times. I'm going to change this to who am I one last time. You guys, it should be who am I and your first name, and then we add it into Classroom where you take the link. I'll show you now. So I change the name, I'm sharing it. The next thing I need to do is copy that link. So this is the link that you have to copy that goes into Classroom. This is also the link that you have to use to add it to your Class Studio. I'll talk more about that in class. This video is made specifically because I want to look inside and show you how I'm going to work on creating it. Now, the other day, if you remember, I'm going to open up Pixton really quick. Just got to move one thing, sorry. Not like that. Okay, I think I am still recording. I hope so. I'm going to Pixton. I'm going to log in. We're still recording. We still have, I think I moved the pane a little bit. I'm going to bring that down here. That's what we want. Okay, so now we can see it. I'm logging into my Pixton just like we did in class. The only reason is at home I don't have my avatar, so I'm logging in real quick to remind you guys to remember that we were supposed to log in and create an avatar. This is weeks and weeks ago. If you guys have Snapchat, you shouldn't. You're not 13 or above, but if you do, you could have used a Bitmoji. Here I'm clicking on my avatar, not to edit it, but to open it up and to download that full body. Okay, and I'm going to download it. It's going to ask me where I want to save it. I'm just going to put it right on my desktop, and I have a, I guess I'll use my temporary to email and Pixton avatar full body, and we'll make that just Pixton Mr. H. Pixton Mr. H. I'm saving that so later on I could close this window. And now when I'm in here, here's where it gets interesting. So right now I'm just looking at code, but I want to look at costumes first. And we have already done this, but we're going to upload our new costume. We're not getting rid of the Alex avatar. We're just getting rid of, let's make sure we're in the right window. I said where I put it was on my desktop in my temporary, and Pixton Mr. H, there's my picture. I'm going to upload. There he is, okay? And I can get rid of Alex now altogether. In class, we have to double tap on the mouse pad. At home, I right click and I duplicate. I'm duplicating because the second one that I want to make is we're going to black out with the paintbrush, and I'm going to make sure that, okay, let's make that about maybe a little bigger than that. I'll make it like 30 so I could do it really quick. Okay, and I just want to quickly, I'm not being very careful. You know, at school we're a little more careful. We have those touch screens at home. I am just working on my mouse, so I'm going to black that out really quick, just the face. You guys blacked out the whole thing. Some people use some different colors. It looked really good. So now I have Pixton 1, right? That's called Pixton Mr. H. And I have Pixton Mr. H. And by the way, if I click there, you can see it's Mr. H2. This is important that we know the name of the costume, because when we start coding, we need to know the costume name. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the code, and a couple of things need to change already. So when the green flag is clicked, I want to make sure, one, that I'm sending out, broadcasting this message called reset. We'll talk more about what reset is doing to the other 3 sprites. But I want to switch to, and it says switch to costume visible, but I don't have a visible costume. I have Pixton Mr. H. You'll have to look which costume you have. Your avatar has a name, and that's what you should be switching to. So when I click the green flag, I should be switching to my regular Pixton. And down below, if I click on the sprite, again, that reset message is sent out, broadcast, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And if I'm on stage 1, I want to switch to invisible. But again, remember, we changed our costumes. Our costume wasn't called visible nor invisible. So I have to find my shadowed out image. That is Mr. H number 2. And again, back down on the else, it says switch to costume visible. We don't have visible. We have Mr. H. So check this out. Green flags, Mr. H. I'm going to move him up a little bit. And let's do that one more time. Green flag, Mr. H. If I click on him, that's the second avatar, right, that we shadowed out. And notice that when I click on him, something changes up here as well. So visible when I'm visible, invisible when I'm invisible. Now that's about the backdrop. Now the backdrops came with the remixed project. We have backdrop 1. I'm going to go look at my backdrops on my stage. I have how many backdrops? 1 is visible and backdrop 2 is invisible. And there is no code written for the backdrop. The stage doesn't have the code, but our avatar has that code. Now make it a little bigger so you guys can see. So when the green flag is clicked, I'm supposed to switch to backdrop 1. And backdrop 1 says visible. And when I click on the sprite, if I'm on backdrop 1, I should switch to backdrop 2 as I switch my costume as well. So now I'm invisible on backdrop 2. And if I'm not on backdrop 1, else, then I'm going to switch back to my regular Pixton Mr. H, that is the visible one, and go back to stage 1, that is backdrop 1 where it's visible. So back and forth, okay? So that's one thing that we need to get done, and it has a lot to do with the costume names. If you made your own backdrops, you may have to change the name of your backdrops as well. We didn't do that. We did a remix, so that's what it should be. I'm at 7 minutes, so now I need to go really quick. I have 3 bubble sprites is what I call them, and I'm going to talk about the costumes first. So costume 1 should be blank. Costume 2 should be something that is, I need to click on that text tool to get in there. Costume 2 should be something that's visible about you. Now it says ability, language, and race. We don't have to do that, so I'm just going to talk about something visible is that I am mostly bald. I don't have hair, just like my Pixton, no hair, right? So mostly bald, that's 1. That's for my visible trait. And costume 3 is for my invisible trait. And again, I'm in that text tool. I want to get in there. I want to delete that. Something that you guys don't know about me. I have a dog. No, I have a cat and 2 dogs. Okay, I have a cat and 2 dogs. So blank, visible, invisible. And when I click on the green flag, remember we were talking about the code. That's the reset. I'm going to click on code over here. When I receive reset, I should be on costume 1. We have 2 of those, so I can get rid of 1. There we go. Make it a little bigger for us. And there's our code. When I click on the flag, I switch to costume 1. If I'm on backdrop 1 and I click on that bubble, which one is that? That's the one on the top. You can see because it lights up. I'm going to go here. So I'm on backdrop 1, and there's my visible trait. If I switch, if I'm on backdrop 2, oh, that's invisible. Now I should be getting costume 3, and costume 3 is I have a dog and 2 cats. So again, green flag sends out reset. Reset says to just switch to costume 1. I'm going to do the same over here. It's the same exact code for all 3. It's the same exact code for all 3, but I need to edit those costumes. So costume 1 is blank. Costume 2 is something that is visible. So I have hazel eyes. Okay, so that's costume 2. That's my visible trait. And something invisible that you don't know about me, I have a son and daughter. A son and a daughter. I'll put that in the center. So again, blank, visible, invisible. Okay, and one more time, I'm going to do that. Blank, visible. What's visible about me? Let's see. Hazel eyes, mostly bald. Oh, I know. I have a beard and a mustache. Good. I'm going to center that out, bring it over. That's good. You guys can see that. I could have put that I wear glasses. That's another one. And now my invisible one. Did you know that I train in the martial arts? Okay, and I've talked about how long in class. You get the idea, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's see what happens. Green flag, visible Pixton, visible character traits. If I click on my visible Pixton, it switches the backdrop, invisible. It switches the costume. And when I click on the bubble sprites, it tells you things that you wouldn't know about me unless we met and talked. So now you know a little bit more about me. And when I go back here, visible, again, these are things that you could tell right when you met me. You guys knew I was bald. If you were close, you saw my eye color. You clearly saw my beard and mustache. And here, I'll even trade the second one here. You know what? You guys don't know what color my eyes are, but I wear glasses. I think that's a fairer one that you guys can all agree with. So one more time, visible, and click on him, invisible. And again, green flag does the same thing and resets everything out. I'm going to stop there. We're just past 12 minutes. You can watch this again and again to double check on the code. Remember, the code for the 3 bubble sprites are exactly the same. They shouldn't change. The code for your avatar needs to make sure that it matches the costume and the backdrop names. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck, and I'll see you in class.